You unlock this door with the key of imagination.
You're traveling through another dimension.
A dimension of sound, a dimension of mind.
A dimension not only of sight and sound, but of mind.
There is a fifth dimension beyond that which is known to man.
Shadow and substance.
Just do
Are we ready?
do the Crypt Keeper intro.
We good?
I don't know if I can do a good Crypt Keeper.
I think you
Are
can
you
pull it
doing
off.
Joan Crawford? Are you doing Joan Crawford? You said the Crypt Keeper.
No, I got a bunch of shit in my throat. Is Joan Crawford the Crypt Keeper?
Every time I look at her, that's what I see. I'm sorry.
She does look like the Crypt Keeper.
This is what I saw.
She's still alive?
Ooh.
I mean, if she's not, she definitely looks like the Crypt Keeper.
Yeah, at this point. At this point.
No.
It's like her and Cher have a running
Google
race
facts
for
this.
that. But I think Joan Crawford.
Oh, man. We got, in the matter that it took us to get 3 likes on one post, it was like 30 minutes. Your post already has 3 likes, and it's been 3 minutes.
Oh,
Nice.
So, fantastic fun.
So, you want to do that breakdown? Or that opening?
Hello, boy. Hello. I can't do it. Hello. It sounded like a clown.
Hello, boys and ghouls.
Hello. Hello, boys and ghouls. Welcome to the podcast. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
It's good stuff.
That was a good laugh.
It took me a long time to come up with that pun, dude.
I mean, payoff right there at the beginning of the podcast. Perfect timing.
Oh. Welcome to another episode of Shadow and Substance, a Twilight Zone podcast that is not official. Tonight we'll be reviewing Not All Men. This episode was weird in many ways.
It's good, but weird.
Yeah,
I had fun with it. I would say
it was a fun episode.
When I say good, yeah, definitely fun.
It was a lot of fun. I have
We've got
some
problems.
with it, but I hate nitpicking the Twilight Zone too much because it's kind of silly to nitpick. If you went back to the original series, you could nitpick the shit out of that, and it wouldn't really. It's pointless. What's the point in nitpicking this kind of show? But the acting was all great. The direction was all excellent.
Wait, Si's got something to say.
No. I was just gonna say, yeah. Hashtag stay woke. You know, it's 2019.
I'm going to preface this real quick before we
no.
even start. No, I do
this
want to
is
get this out of the
necessary.
way because I think this is important.
Necessary.
We're going to be real lighthearted and funny about this. I don't because there's a lot to kind of add some.
I'm not qualified.
We need to add some levity to this because this is a heavy episode and it's real. The things that happen in this episode are very real. As I was watching this, I was kind of in my head. I was thinking like this is real ham-fisted and it's very. It's just hitting you over the head with a sledgehammer with its sort of it's politically correct as fuck. And as we're watching it, my wife looks at me and says, I 100% feel this. Like this is like I see this, and she's a hairdresser at a kind of swanky men's grooming place, and so she sees kind of a lot of misogyny and kind of shittiness in guys on a daily basis. So I as a dude, I don't want to discount anything that is said in this episode. That being said, I'm gonna make fun of a lot of shit that happened in this episode because it's fun. It can be funny. Okay, if you can't laugh about something, then it's gonna fucking eat you alive, right? So let's all laugh and have a good time. So that being said, we'll just get right into everything. Si, if you have anything you want to say, please go right ahead.
No.
My lawyers have advised me to not say anything during this segment. I'm gonna keep it real PG.
But don't keep it PG. The show didn't.
No, well, yeah, that's true. Actually,
I mean, we have
you know
to.
what I wanna
we've got a
talk
little
about?
label that says explicit to make sure that we're not trying to say we're PG at all.
Well,
Yeah.
Well, just to keep it on the tone of the show, I will say this dock scene. This is my #1 episode in a tie with like the second one with the flight with Adam McKay.
Flight at
because I've
30,000
watched
feet.
but right before it came over here would have marked the 8th time.
There's some really pretty shots in this episode.
Oh,
pretty
yeah, and-
shots, the sound design I want to talk about, but that dock scene. I think that's why I identified and I liked that character so much in the initial watching. Was that dock scene did it for me? I don't know how to praise it enough.
We'll get there.
Yeah,
we'll get there.
I don't want to dissect it now, but
Yeah,
We'll get there.
that man with the
but
chain.
Yeah, that was really cool.
It's Black Snake Moan-ish. There's so many things that I could just make me want to smile as a child.
This episode opens up on something really cool, and I do want to point this out. And it does say call Dr. Romero at 10:15.
yeah.
And that's really neat because they do talk about people turning and that kind of thing. So there is a zombie element to this in a way, and I like that they did kind of they focused on that right away to let you know like there's something weird going on. You know, there's a zombie thing happening. Zombies are really cool. I like zombies. You guys, I don't know.
I love zombies.
Yeah, no,
I'm a
zombies is a
massive
plus.
zombie.
We've kind of gotten hit over the head with zombies over the past like 10 years thanks to the Walking Dead, which is
Zombieland.
I've
kinda-
yet to watch The Walking Dead, so
Any
I'm
of
happy
it?
with that. Yeah,
Go
I
on,
watched 2 episodes.
Go in the closet.
no, The Walking Dead is cool. The Walking Dead
I read
is
I read quite a bit of it.
Go in the closet.
it kind of it goes back and forth, man. It goes from a really great show to a absolutely fucking terrible show,
And
Yeah,
then back
that's
to
what
a
I
good
don't-
show.
I
and then
wanna
back
go
to a good show.
Yeah, like-
It's
I don't want to go through it.
I know, right? It's a bad break.
it's a roller coaster, man. It's The Walking Dead is a roller
That's the fault
coaster.
in our stars, Chris.
I've
Let's
got
not
so
quote
little
the
time,
fault.
I
You're
can't spend
only
it on
on a
bad
roller
television.
coaster that goes up, my friend. That's a quote from Fault in Our Stars for all our female listeners. Hashtag I am woke. Just so you know.
Man,
So-
this is gonna be an episode.
I didn't mansplain on that one. That was a mansplain.
We got mansplaining going
come
on.
on,
Don't
already.
mansplain.
I'm sorry.
There is a lot of mansplaining happening in this episode.
A lot.
A lot.
Whoa.
And my wife looks to me.
Do you mansplain, Nick?
Yeah. I'm terrible.
Are you a
about
man? I am a mansplainer to.
it. I'm a mansplainer to most people. But yeah, I totally still do it.
Yeah, I mansplain to all humans. But sometimes I do it to people that I feel like I shouldn't have, and I feel kind of bad about it. Like I know because I understand what I'm doing, and then I catch myself, and I'm like, I'm gonna be an asshole. Like I don't need it.
It's hard to live life as a cynic. That's
yeah. The point is like don't talk down to somebody when you explain something
Or tell them to smile.
don't. Well, that's just shitty.
yeah.
We'll get to that.
So
We'll
now
get
we're
to that.
splitting flies
So-
here. And then let's not turn against each other now, man.
Should
Oh,
are you gonna do? Did you just say let's not turn against each other, men?
I'm so sorry.
Sigh. Are you a man's right?
This is gonna be a fun episode.
I'm so sorry.
Are you gonna do the men's rights thing?
Nope. I am not. I am sorry. I am with Oprah on every decision. Did you know you should remove your top bun when eating a burger? I just want you to know that.
What?
Oprah does that. I'm woke.
I don't know what Oprah does. I don't pay any attention to her.
So how does
I
this
don't watch
episode
O.
start?
Okay,
So after
we
Dr.
we
Romero?
start off with Annie. Annie is at work, and she is approached by Dylan. Dylan.
Yes,
Dylan.
the hero of the, the anti-villain.
Oh, come on, man.
So early. The villain. Sorry.
Dylan is asking her out and telling her he's given her a rundown of all the shit he's gonna cook for her, which includes lobster and apparently corn.
Corn?
I'm not real sure why corn.
Maybe? Does
'Cause
that
corn is
sound
good,
good?
man.
Corn?
Yeah, corn's fine. I don't really know why it's a selling point for a date.
No, I'm just saying, like the way he said it, corn?
Corn, yeah. I don't know. Maybe she's a vegetarian.
No, women love corn, man.
Yeah, well,
And this
that
is
sexist?
okay. So, just to preface this a little, we all have had at one point competing views of this episode, and this is something
Whoa,
that
don't sell
kind
me out
of
here. Don't sell me out.
I mean it's fine. We kind of were talking about this earlier, Chris and I, about how this was like a part where.
I think your phone just told you what to do here.
Shut up, phone.
I do have also another theory.
But
After
no,
your theory,
but-
after your
but-
theory, I would like to tell my theory.
But yeah, at this point, we were talking about how because of the reveal, just notice here, the later end reveal. Notice here how nice he actually is. After my rewatch of this for the third time, he's actually pretty sweet here. So it's
Nick has a theory that's interesting.
Let me hear this theory.
Wait, I think we should get to that point,
And then you'll lay it on?
discuss Nick's theory, because Nick's theory is very interesting, and I don't know.
It's weird. It's weird.
It's weird, and it's like I don't know that I don't know that
probably
it
has
holds
zero
any
merit,
water
but-
at all.
Mine's a one-liner. My theory was that there were monsters all along, and this is in an alternate universe where men are shit.
That's not an alternate universe, man.
Oh, okay. Well, maybe
Yeah,
an alternate-
That's the literal universe
No, no,
we're
no,
living
I'm
in.
just saying
We're living
there's
in right now.
Yeah, we're shitheads, man.
Yeah, you're
we're
not
angry
wrong.
motherfuckers.
You're not wrong. Sports.
Yeah.
Yeah. So she eventually acquiesces and says, "Yeah, I'll go with you. We'll go on a date." And
And a little
She likes
sorry, a little add on. Also, this is where it begins. The theory is
yeah. No, she says
that she's currently working with the placebo group on a project of lip balm.
and then we can talk about. Actually, we can get right into
The next scene.
Nick's theory here, because the next scene starts out right outside Dylan's house,
And she's got her compact out, and she's putting on lip balm.
She is, and then we can move on from there. Now I gotta go ahead and say that Dylan's house is fucking rad.
Yeah.
Dope Lakeview.
This thing is like I don't know what they do. They work at a cosmetics company. I'm assuming is that
Probably.
because
From what they infer there, I guess.
pharmaceutical. Is it pharmaceutical?
Yeah, I think it's Air Pharmaceuticals.
I didn't catch
making
any
that-
signs.
no, I'm
oh,
making
you're
that
making
up.
shit
I'm
up.
making
Okay.
that up. I'm sorry.
All right. Well, don't
Guess we
listen to
know
that.
Yeah. I don't think any woman has.
Don't listen to anyone. Another theory with the A Traveler episode. We'll get to that on our finale episode.
Yeah, we'll do a season wrap up.
Yeah, because I got more theories. I'm starting to unravel.
We'll do a season wrap up once this is all over, and we'll talk about a lot of shit at that point. They're outside watching the meteor shower. The meteors start hitting the ground and the water tower and all over the place. And Dylan says, "Well, we should go investigate," which is, I thought was actually, is that a callback to Scream? Was that a little callback? We should go investigate. Because the way he says it is very like, did you notice that?
The
He
thing
turns
is, man,
around
I
and
haven't
looks at her,
watched
and they
Scream
they
since it
get
released.
right in on his face, and he's like, "Let's go investigate." And it's just, to me, it was just a horror movie trope that they threw in there as like a little just like nod to like horror movie people.
Yeah, I mean, I could see that definitely.
It just seemed
because
like
it was
that.
like an immediate thing. As soon as that shit hit,
Yeah.
he was just like turned to her and
Let's go
delivered that line.
investigate. Yeah, I thought that was kind of cool. So they go out there, they find the meteor in some red water.
Well, it's just water, but now it's
It's
turned.
so yeah, it's glowing red, or it's been turned red by the meteor.
So my client is exonerated from here forward. I'm just kidding. Anyway, go for it.
So
Especially since he has An affection for Lionel Richie's song.
Don't talk about Superman like that, man.
So they go back to Dylan's house, and he's got, he's getting handsy. He's getting super handsy. He starts.
Whoa.
He starts.
Whoa, hold on. Let me describe this scene. Hold on. Let me
Okay,
start
go
it.
ahead.
So Dylan starts
So this
out.
is. I just.
Let me
Let's
describe
this scene
let me
from the
describe-
misogynist point of view.
No, I'm describing this from the Aziz Ansari type of view. Okay, so this is how I saw this scene as a man lighting this romantic scene. Now, it gets inappropriate real quick, but I'll give a quick recap. So it starts out, Teresa, I think it's Tissa Farmagia. I don't know how to say her name, but she's awesome, Tissa. But she's on the couch. It starts out, and in the night, that Lionel Richie starts, which is an awesome sound choice by the sound designer.
Yeah, that was pretty fucking crazy.
It was amazing. So it starts out, and she's looking at him, and then he comes over to the couch and he sits down, and then and the song continues, and so he sits there and they kiss for a moment. They kiss, and he describes, and he's like, yeah, he calls her a
But okay.
What did he call her? He called her a compliment, which was inappropriate too, because she even was like, "What? What'd you call me? What'd you call it?" No, it's a compliment, which was inappropriate.
What are you talking about?
I understand. He says you're. In some other words, he says you're a workaholic.
Oh, he says I like your
Work ethic or something.
your job.
You're a job whore or something.
Another
like
part
No,
that.
he doesn't say job whore.
Right before the kiss, notice how he's acting. After the kiss, notice how he's acting.
Yeah,
He's got a point.
That's what I'm saying.
I want to add
That's
that.
why I'm saying, at first it was pure.
I think it could
at first
be
it was
lip balm.
pure. It could have been the lip balm. At first it was pure. It was an Aziz Ansari type of thing. And then it gets real inappropriate because she asked to say no, and as every other fellow I would imagine, you stop. And I want to be done talking about this.
Hey, at least
but you should.
I want to say,
Yeah, if
at this point, even though he made a point to stop himself.
Yeah, he did. He tried to stop, but
He
what's
did,
fucked
and
up,
he
though,
didn't hurt her.
I noticed this on the second to last viewing. First the line is, "I'll do you first,"
Yeah.
which is
So I'll do you first.
Which is why
yeah,
would you say that to
I'll
a
do
woman?
you first
Why
is
would you-
like a ridiculous line to say to anybody
Yeah.
in that situation.
Yeah.
What is he even talking about? First of all, I'll do you. Is he saying he's gonna go down on her first?
Yeah,
Like,
make her
penetrate you
come
first.
first, and then he gets to.
yeah, I don't.
I
don't
think
know
that was
what,
the insinuation.
Yeah,
at the least.
as an adult, it's a really weird thing to say to
Yeah.
a date.
Abnormal
Yeah.
storytelling in this episode.
I'll do you first.
And he follows that up with, "What do you think? I'm trying to fuck you?"
yeah. Are you thinking I'm trying to fuck you?
You just said, "I'll do you first."
Yeah, I don't know.
Trying to fuck you.
I
This
don't
is
know
the guy,
where he's
like,
going.
crazy.
So
from something.
that's what I want
Yeah.
to point out is I think at that point, and I like my theory about the meteorite. Like Jordan Peele is just jizzing on her face and just trying to cause a distraction, but that's when he's no longer himself, and the date's over with because she's just for her safety on then.
Well, she gets up and starts to leave.
Yeah.
Rightfully so.
Rightfully so. I'm gonna let
and-
you take the wheel here.
And he grabs her arm very forcefully, tries to convince her to stay, and she's like, "Nah, man, I'm going home. I got shit to do, and I gotta leave." She finally makes it out of the house and kind of turns around, and he's smashing his record player and all kinds of shit.
Another reason he's crazy. My client is innocent.
Or is he just an asshole?
Or
Yeah, he
is
could just be an asshole.
He's affected by the record. Let me ask
He
you
could
this.
be affected by the meteorite. He could be affected by the lip balm, or he could just be an asshole.
He could just be a fucking asshole. And like, okay, and so I don't know. Here's the thing. Okay, I want to throw this out there. Maybe the writers were trying to get a bunch of dudes to try to defend these guys and their behavior. by saying, "But it's the meteorite, but it's the lip balm." Maybe they're just assholes.
Yeah,
I mean, like they really could just be assholes.
They could just be dudes.
Yeah, they're just dudes.
And like as later said, we'll get to it. We'll get to it.
Yeah. And at that point, we cut to the intro from Jordan Peele, which I did not write down.
Thank you.
I don't think
But
the intro matters
The
much.
intro on this one, it doesn't allude to it being like anything but something supernatural.
Yeah. No, it doesn't. They make it seem like this is going to be a alien presence that's causing these people to act the way they're acting.
And there's been a lot of aliens in this so far.
There have.
There's been a traveler, and then there's been the last episode, which I got to finally watch all the way through without Cliff Note style viewing. And yeah, aliens have been in this, so
Yeah, I mean, aliens have
to give you merit, say.
aliens have a lot to do with the Twilight Zone sometimes. So
Jordan Peele, fire your editor and hire me. I'll make sure that blink is cut out. If not,
And then
thank
hire
you for
me because I'll
blinking to
keep
me.
this guy under complete
please
control.
Answer my response because now it's creepy because I now sent you a bunch of creepy texts.
I was okay with the blinking. That was okay.
No, you need to fire your editor. I'll do a better
People
job.
blink, man.
No,
I
fire
don't
your
understand
editor.
why you
He
didn't
can
want
blink.
the blink
Because
there.
you could. That's a half a frame.
This is
it
what
was
you're-
a half a frame. It was
This
half a
is
frame.
what you're nitpicking about.
Look, do you want to be great
This
or
is
not?
the hill you're gonna
Jordan
die
Peele-
on again.
I'm gonna die on this hill. Jordan Peele. Oh my god! Just answer my goddamn text. Like it's getting real creepy.
This man has sent paragraphs
Oh
upon
my
paragraphs
God.
that has now become a
It's
journal to Jordan Peele
It's
that
so
he's keeping really as a journal for himself, but he's sending him to Jordan Peele. And Jordan Peele's having to either constantly reject viewing these things because he doesn't want to be an asshole and block him, or I mean, like he's actually reading through this stuff.
It's getting real. The only thing I'll tease about that. It's getting real.
Oh.
All right, so yeah.
Just imagine being Jordan Peele and getting notifications for that. I guarantee it's probably just his publicist.
I
It's
imagine
fine.
he said, "Hey, looking at this guy. This guy's a fucking creeper."
Don't reach back out to that guy.
Oh man, fuck you, man. Come on, man. Come on, man. I'm a good guy. I fucking feel
You're a
him.
good guy, but Jordan Peele doesn't know that.
Man, fuck you,
You
man.
sent a lot of messages. I saw those paragraphs.
Well, I started with "I'm a misogynist," so this is probably
Oh
not a
man,
good
this is
episode,
not
so
the
fucking-
episode.
Yeah. All right, so moving on.
And he's getting ready the next morning and notices the bruise on her arm that Dylan left there the night before. She gets to work and sees Dylan talking to somebody else and kind of is like
Talking
realizing
to what was his name? Steve, the motorcycle guy.
Yeah, oh no, that's Perry.
Or
Perry is the motorcycle
Perry.
guy.
That's who he's talking to. Is Perry.
And yeah, she has a moment where she's like, "Fuck." I think the realization that like I work with this guy and now I have to deal with this situation on a daily basis kind of hits her full force, and she doesn't like it. So the boss comes by and tells her she needs to brief Dylan on whatever the hell they're working on and whatever the hell business they
No,
fucking
he
work at.
mansplains is what I think you're saying here. He
That is the mansplainer.
Yeah,
guy.
it's a
That is,
mansplainer.
and which I will refer to this guy as the mansplainer from here on out because
'Cause
that
he
is
mansplains.
basically what he does throughout this entire episode is mansplains
And
to
gets
her
eaten by
and
zombies.
to anybody else.
It gets eaten by zombies at the gas station.
Did he get eaten by zombies?
Oh yeah, because there's a blood splatter. He gets down, manja.
Maybe he did. Maybe he did. I didn't notice that. So yeah, he starts telling her, you know, this is how we have protocols, so we have to do things here, and Annie is kind of reluctant to actually. She's like, I don't want to bother him, blah blah blah, and he goes into a spiel about how this is what we have to do. If you want to move up in this company, you need to follow his lead, do what he does, and you'll go far fast. Is basically what he says.
We have protocols, Annie.
Yeah. And so then we cut to a yoga studio, which this scene is, I guess, just to set up her walking out. I guess she could have been basically anywhere, but we have about 30 seconds of yoga.
Hey man,
For some reason, I don't.
Get woke. Yoga centers the mind and the body.
Yoga's fine. I have nothing against yoga.
Get woke.
I don't know why I need to get woke.
You need to get woke because this is 2019. Get woke. Hashtag.
So she walks outside the yoga studio and sees all the men are acting like dicks. They're just doing dicky things, which, okay, so
if
this
Move,
is
lady!
Yeah, if somebody told me that, dude, I'm fighting. I don't know if it's just me or you guys, but if somebody honked at me like that, I've almost gotten a fight in a parking lot over that. Because, like, I pulled into a spot, and this dude honked at me, and I got out, and I was like, what? Like, I almost got into a fight, like, it's over.
Yeah, exactly. Just like this episode.
That's what I'm saying. Like, have you guys never gotten in a fight over a parking spot?
Yes.
Yeah, that's okay. That's what I'm saying. Like,
I actually, like, I have been a dick about parking spots.
yeah, if somebody takes your fucking spot, right, you're gonna fight for it.
Yeah, a guy pulled in going in the right. So I was at Walmart one day, and I was going the right direction. So you know how there's
the two arrows.
Yeah, so you
arrows.
can't, like, there's one way. There's parking lots where you can only go one way in the park. You're not supposed to come in the opposite direction because you can't pull into a parking space that way, right?
Correct.
So I'm coming up to this parking space and I see it and I'm like, cool, there's a parking space. I get close enough to get ready to turn into it, and this guy like whips around and then pulls into the parking space.
But parks at an angle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I pulled up right behind him, got out of my car, and I was like, dude, you're a dick. and like, I did. I got out of my car. I was like, get the fuck out of the parking. You're not even supposed to be going that way. It's a one way.
Yeah.
It's like, you're a dick. And so the guy, like, he actually got back in his car and like moved. And guy, like, I really just wanted to tell him he was a dick for doing that, just so he would think twice the next time he decided to do some bullshit like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, he actually like let me in the parking space, and then I kind of felt like a dick because I was like, oh man, I just like totally like cussed this guy out, and he was just this nice little Indian guy out of the car, and he was like, I am very sorry, and I was like, oh shit, man, I'm like, I don't know, like. Like, you're still a dick, but I mean, now you're kind of a nice guy, so I didn't really know what to. Like, I really felt bad. It was a fucked up situation, but yeah, I get like this whole scene was like it was a collage of shitty things dudes do. The one guy's like grabbing that chick's ass as they're walking down the street. There's a dude like trying to jam a straw into a cup,
that has the same logo as the diner from Replay.
Yeah.
Oh shit! For real? Was it
Boom.
Big Willie's? Was it Big?
No, it was the B.
The
Busy Bee.
Busy Bee.
Busy
But
Bee.
why is this? Okay, I have to ask this question about this guy that's trying to jam the straw. Why is it difficult? I have never had a problem.
He's
putting,
just so manly and angry. He just
have always been able to insert my straw into my cup. I've never sat there and like hit it over and over again.
I think I
like
did
a
that.
maniac.
I did that earlier today.
Yeah,
Stabbing
see,
a
that
victim,
doesn't
I
make
did.
sense if it's not some kind of thing that's going on because of the media rights. 'Cause at this point, it's trying to infer that something.
Well, yeah, it is trying to infer that there is something going on. That it's like a contagious thing that these people are, and it is inferring that absolutely 100%. And we'll get to like my problems and your problems and all of our problems with this episode.
Yeah, right.
But I mean, my problems don't really. My big gripe about this episode doesn't like really hit until the end. Yeah. So she sees all this shit. Annie goes to her sister's house for her birthday. Her sister is Martha, who played by Rhea Seehorn, who's amazing. Amazing actress. Better Call Saul.
Man, dude,
one of my favorite shows. Great show, great actress. Her and Bob Odenkirk together are it's television magic. If you've never seen Better Call Saul, go watch Better Call Saul. Anybody who hasn't seen that show, it's amazing. It's one of the best shows on television. Very underrated show.
Whoa, even better than Star Trek?
Like I said, it's one of the best shows on television.
Wait. No, is it better than Star Trek?
Which
it's
one?
not. It's I can't. Like, they're not comparable. They're two totally different things. It would be like.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to call in your girlfriend or your mistress.
It'd
while
be
your
like
girlfriend was in the
comparing
room.
apples to lights.
You can compare those two.
Yeah,
I like
it is.
green-
It's
I like green apples, and I like my lights when they flicker.
Yeah, it's comparing apples to feet. It's they're not the same thing.
Yes, they are.
They're not the same thing.
Everything
They're
is
not
the
even
same thing.
both fruits.
Dude,
Like
meteorites come
beers
from
and
space.
macaroni.
Yeah. That
I just looked at the two things in front of me.
What the fuck happened, Stacks? Dude, my lawyers are over here looking at me saying, "Sai, just be quiet."
Side doesn't have money for lawyers.
Yeah, that's-
None of us do.
I can be my lawyer, bitch. Like Matt Damon did it.
I'm a lawyer.
Better Call Saul did it.
she pulls up to her
Bundy
sister's
did it.
house, her sister Martha, and she's kind of sitting in the car, and she gets a tap on the window from Cole, her nephew, and they have a conversation about the date she had the night before. Cole tells her, like, I really wish I could just go kick his ass. She's like, what good would that do? And he's like, I don't know.
And she's like, why do guys fight all the time?
Yeah.
Or want to beat each other's asses all the time? And he's like, because we're dudes! Which is one inclination to, like, yeah, we're doing all this because that's just who we are.
Yeah. And that's, you know, and he's the one guy that says that, but he's the one guy that doesn't act on it, which is interesting.
That's me.
So,
It's because he's aware.
Oh,
He's-
that's not me.
Size woke.
Ooh, maybe it is me.
they're
Wait,
all...
I'm not gay. Fuck you. Oh wait, that's nothing's wrong with that. Nothing's wrong with that.
Jesus Christ.
I'm so
That's
sorry.
good,
I was
Gar.
trying so hard.
No, it's
My
not.
lawyer
That's getting
Because
do you
that's
have
a
beep
problem.
function? Do you have a bleep function? Like,
You
can
know
we
what?
bleep?
We're not bleeping
There's
it, 'cause
nothing
you know
wrong
that's
with
the
this. I
problem.
have tons of
And
gay
we're gonna
friends.
attack it.
Hold on.
We're gonna
I
tackle
just
it
said
right
that.
here on the review of Jordan Peele's Twilight Zone.
God damn it! Look, I'm not.
This is the problem with our society. Man who raised me was gay, Si.
He was actually, you know, and there's nothing like right. Like me,
What's wrong?
I want to be on the feminist side here. Okay, like I'm woke.
No, I mean
I'm woke.
you're actually a pretty woke person.
I'm a woke.
We're just busting your balls because you know that's what we do here.
At Woke Industries.
Moving on.
Moving on. Oh my god.
We're towing this line very thin.
So they're all sitting around the table at
I'm not making sexual jokes here. Okay, so they're
Martha's
sitting.
house.
Martha's house.
Martha's house. They're all sitting around the table. She gets a frying pan for her birthday, which this is going to come into play in a minute. Mike is talking. They're having some kind of conversation, and I did catch Martha's husband, Mike, says, who I may actually refer to as Cro-Magnon Wahlberg,
Cro-Magnon Mike.
because
Guitars, baby.
he looks like a crazy Wahlberg, man. This guy, and I know, like, hey, guy, you're a good actor, whatever your name is.
Yeah, he's a comedy dude. He's
Yeah,
all in comedy.
he's great. But
so
he
good.
just he looks so much like a Wahlberg to me that I thought, like, I sat there and I was like, is this guy a Wahlberg? And I had to look him up.
Would you call him Donnie? What was the Don? You were like
Donald Wahlberg. Like, but
Yeah,
then I
that's-
realized there's already a Donnie Wahlberg.
So you call him Donald? You're like what'd you say about the fry?
We'll call him Jimmy Wahlberg. Okay, it's Jimmy Wahlberg.
I love this dude. This is funny.
He's
to laugh
he
this
works at
dude.
Wahlburgers
He's so
with Donnie and Danny and the rest of the Wahlbergs that work there. Because there's some Wahlbergs we don't know about, and they actually have a burger joint called Wahlburgers.
Oh, yeah, it was
That's
like,
true story.
Yeah, it's like they had an A&E television show.
Yeah,
man. Like,
Wahlburgers.
yeah,
they're fine.
I always pictured like Bob's Burgers, but it's like Donnie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, but he says there's still good men out there. And then mansplain guy starts mansplaining pate. This technically isn't pate. And so
Technically.
Oh wait.
and then he's asked to stop mansplaining at that point, which this guy's a mansplainer, man.
He is a
This guy's a mansplainer. He's probably does this a lot.
But this is where she talks about him being a hero, and they pull one of my favorite tropes that we talked about. You know, the this is the end, the Seth Rogen thing, where they tell you everything and then they do it Because he's like, oh, look at my hero. She tells the story. He's like, stop interrupting me and shit like that. And
Yeah.
yeah.
So they go out to deal with the neighbor. Has his hose is busted, and there's red water going. Do we need to talk about this scene? It's just kind of pointless scene.
Yeah,
Well, no,
I mean, it does set up the
it
red
smells
water.
like shit. We can smell it in our house.
Yeah,
It's like,
oh,
I know.
It smells bad. I don't know why it smells bad because it doesn't. They seem to drink it and not care. So I don't really understand the smell that's coming out of
Chris,
this.
you just
grody.
described vagina.
Man, this is a rough one.
Was that too soon? We eat it, but you don't describe it.
I mean,
I'm sorry. We can bleep this out. I'm sorry. No, I just felt it.
I find it delicious, but I think we're still in a weird spot here.
So much of this is getting cut.
You know what's great? Is none of us gonna get cut.
I'm sorry. Can we cut that?
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
You know how lazy I am?
Come on, man. Don't
It's
leave
not
that in.
hard. You
Don't leave.
just cut.
Yeah, don't leave that
I know.
Beep the beep, and we'll just and people will wonder what the fuck did he say, and we won't.
You know,
It'll be a good time.
I
It'll be
think
funny.
leaving
It'll
it will
actually
be a
be
good time,
funny
too.
if we beep it out.
I'm sorry.
maybe I just beep every time you say beep.
Oh. Okay. So
Hold Doug.
the girls go to a bar,
is
and
necessary.
shit starts getting crazy at the bar. There is
Give me
a point
another
where,
one.
where-
Shoot the stone.
yeah, they're shooting the stones.
Shoot the
Martha
stone.
Martha tries to tell Annie to invite Dylan over to the table, which she doesn't realize how rapey this dude is, and
He's probably good in bed. Not everything's about sex. It isn't. Ah.
oh yeah, she does Rhea Seahorn does do like kind of a cringy thing here. It's just like, oh, it isn't like it's like.
Is it cringy?
It's
a little
cringy knowing like the past experience of this girl within the last 24
Yeah,
hours.
yeah. After what her experience the night before, it's
Of the
it's-
She
rapist.
doesn't know that.
No, she doesn't know. She doesn't know, and it gets explained later. But
I can't say rapist. He didn't rape her, but he got close, man.
Come on, man. Don't call. Would you call Aziz Ansari a rapist? All right, so moving
so
on.
Annie goes outside to smoke and finds Cole outside, and he's getting beer from.
With
it looks like a
Steve.
beer
This
truck?
is Steve.
Huh?
This is Steve. This is the
Steve. Yeah, Steve is Cole's
So this
boyfriend.
must be
Yeah,
Steve.
dude, he's awesome too. By the way, he does a great job.
He's not awesome. Well, I mean, he's great in the
Steve
role. Yeah,
turns into
definitely.
a total dick.
Well, no,
But I'm saying he
sorry, the
becomes an
two of them
asshole.
I'm sorry, the two of them
Tries
acting
to
their
fucking make
story.
him shoot the stone.
Yeah, their story. The two of them like dating together. I thought I like their arc.
So she informs or Steve and Cole inform Annie that they're going to Steve's dad's boat called the Achilles. And
Anything
so,
here?
Huh?
Is there anything here with the Achilles and
I don't know.
past references? I haven't
didn't.
checked it.
I thought about that too. I didn't bother to look it up. I would almost guarantee there is. This is where she goes back into the bar and you start hearing shoot the stones, and then they start to really get like violent. Somebody smashes a drink on the bar, and then the fights start, and everybody's fucking fighting. It's
we're
just
through the looking
it's a
glass.
full barroom brawl. And there's
Move,
people
bitch.
trying to get out.
Get out of my way, bitch.
Yeah,
Yeah, get out of my way, bitch, and all kinds of shit. So they bail. They're like, fuck this, let's go. Motorcycle guy outside, this is Perry.
oh yeah.
Yeah, it's the guy we saw earlier talking to, what was the name? Brian?
No, my
Dylan.
hero.
Dylan.
The hero, dude. Come on.
Dylan.
Perry goes outside and he calls Annie a fucking bitch as they're leaving. He's like, come back here, you fucking bitch. You know, what did I do to you? I can't remember what he says. He says some shit. But
And he's
an
just
You
like,
don't want to talk to me?
yeah, why don't you talk to me? Why are you ignoring me?
Yeah.
Stop fucking ignoring me, bitch.
yeah, he's an asshole.
You think you're better than me?
Yeah, that was it. They get better than me.
They get in the car and they notice that Perry is actually following them. I think
The
they
guy
call
Perry had a motorcycle.
Yeah, that guy had a motorcycle, and so they realize it is him, and they are following. They start to turn. They eventually lose him.
James Bond.
Which at this point I was like, fuck, dude. You didn't lose that motherfucker.
They did. They managed to get away from him. They get to Martha's house. Martha can't get the gate to open. She keeps clicking the button. So they start talking about the
conveniently
date.
the one time that she finally clicks it for real.
Well, she does click it like 50 times. Before.
Yeah, then she's
she
just like
clicks,
like
click,
right at the right
and then
moment.
finally it opens. Like, so I kind of did buy that because she was clicking it like one time and then she'd sit there and they talk. And then she'd click it again and go, God damn this thing, and then they talk for a minute. And then when it does open, she actually hits that thing like 5 times in a row. She's like click, 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 and then it opens. So I kind of like, I've actually had garage door openers that did that before, so I can relate. So they're talking in the car, and Annie kind of tells her about the date with Dylan and how fucked up everything was, and Martha says, well, before I met Mike, all this fucked up shit, I had dates like that too. Some of them were shitty dates, some of them were a little more than shitty dates, inferring that there were guys who just didn't want to take no for an answer. At least that's what I got.
Yeah, that's definitely what it.
Guys, learn to say no.
You mean learn to accept no?
Or yeah, learn to accept no.
I'm so glad you said something that
That wasn't misogynistic
Wasn't.
or
I'm not a misogynist.
anyways.
no, you're famous.
Perry pulls up behind him, and they finally get in the gate. They run in. They tell Mike that this guy followed us here on a motorcycle, and he's outside. Mike says, a guy followed you here, and he runs up to the door.
I'll take care of this.
And he decides he's going to go out and take care of it. They try and stop him, but
What are you doing?
Which is his French story too.
I said I'll take care of it.
Yeah, his French story.
And this is the point where she flips, she steps back, like, oh fuck, like his wife Martha or whatever.
Yeah, she gets upset. She's like, no, I don't understand why he's doing this. He's normally not like this. He beats this guy to death outside.
Yeah.
Annie watches the whole thing.
This doesn't seem like something he would normally do, and he doesn't have any prior knowledge or information about what's going on in the rest of the world, like news-wise. They're not talking about it anywhere.
Right.
So how could he all of a sudden just out of nowhere decide I'm going to yell at my wife and then kill a guy?
Yeah, this part doesn't hold the.
Bad storytelling.
Yeah, it's
you're right.
Bad storytelling because the end of the episode
because
does not,
because of what they say at the end.
Yeah.
Bad storytelling.
But
It doesn't lend itself to this scene.
But this is why I got upset earlier. Is just because he says what he says at the end, you take him at face value. Let's travel back 2 episodes to The Traveler. Deception, lies, and misguidance. Like, these are important as the silo comes down on us.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Look, I'm just saying, just because they
There's
said...
a door behind 2, 3 or 4 or 5 more
just
doors.
because they said it doesn't mean we have to believe it. Like, I guess that's what I'm saying. Like, think about what was the robot one where they talk about man invented machine, and then machine invently gets rid of man. Like,
Are you talking about Jurassic Park where he said man made God?
No, I'm talking about the episode about
God made
robots,
man,
the
man
one we
made God.
watched. But what I'm saying is that
God
just because
made
what they
dinosaurs?
say in the wrap up
Man made dinosaurs?
doesn't we're not doing a Jeff Goldblum moment. But just because what
On a scale of 1 to 10
Jeff
Jeff
Goldblum.
Goldblums, how many Goldblums would you rate this episode?
this is 10 Goldblums. I'm just gonna let you know.
10 Goldblums!
The 30,000 feet is 9.5.
I give this
Goldblums.
10
This
Goldblums
is
out
10
of 10 possible Goldblums.
Spicy ones. Get out of here. Get out. It's so good. It's so good. It's so good.
Hey, if anybody wants to know how you look, no one on the planet will ever love anything the way that Jeff Goldblum loves the way his wife looks in those fucking shoes. No one. Go watch the Hot Ones episode with Jeff Goldblum and tell me that you love anything as much as Jeff Goldblum loves his wife in those fucking shoes.
Yeah, it's true.
I dare you. I dare anybody.
I don't love anything that much. Yeah,
No, I don't either.
I don't, yeah.
Yeah, nothing. There's nothing. There's nothing I love that much.
Yeah, you fucking.
Ain't my own kid. I don't even love my kid that much. Nothing. I don't know how to love anything like that.
This didn't have Goldblum.
Didn't have Goldblum. Yeah, he's
Didn't have Goldblum.
I give this one 11 Goldblums out of a possible 10
Oh
Goldblums.
my God, we're here. We're here. This is the greatest episode of all time.
Okay, so moving right along. Yeah, so Mike beats Perry to death outside. Annie
Bye,
says
Perry.
we need to get the fuck out of here. And she locks the door. But unfortunately, of course, Mike is standing behind them and says, "They should have. You should have seen me." And it felt good. It felt good letting that guy have it, is what he says. And like once again, this doesn't lend itself to the ultimate narrative of this episode, which is really weird. And we'll get to that at the end. He's covered in blood and starts singing "Happy Birthday" to Martha. Then he tells her to blow out the candles.
blow out the candles.
He's like, blow out the candles. He gets really upset about this, which is like, this is once
So
again,
good.
this is a guy who has no prior knowledge of anything that's happening. He doesn't have one of these meteorites.
He's infected.
But he has drank from the water that is red.
Did he drink the red
yeah,
water?
he drank the
Yeah.
red. They had
Okay,
a shot.
so he drank the red water.
They
He
had
drank
a
the
shot
red
of him
water
drinking
as
the
soon
water.
as like they
Okay,
came-
but he has no knowledge of anything.
so he
that's
could have been
happening.
drinking it that whole time. So yeah, it could be the meteorite at this point.
Oh,
Only.
now
No,
it's
no.
the
And like I said,
dude,
we
I'm
had
gonna
things
push
to
you
give
out
you
of your
merit.
chair. I'm gonna
No,
push you out of
it
your
doesn't.
chair.
Like, here's the thing: it doesn't even matter because the shit. It's like
It's bad
look,
storytelling.
It's bad writing
Because of
period.
what they give you at the end, it's bad.
It's bad writing.
And in your
It just
eyes,
is.
I feel the
So, and I don't want to dog it too much, but because it is a cool episode and it's fun, but it's poorly written in this particular case.
It's such a good ending. Fuck you.
So he tries to kill Annie. He tries to choke her. Martha comes up behind him, hits him on the head with a pan, knocks
Yeah,
him
the
out.
pan that she gave him.
and they
Thankfully, she
leave.
gave her that pan,
Yeah, he gave her the pan.
which was originally thought to be a novel written by a man who only writes women's novels.
Right. Yeah.
Ooh.
Oh.
Catching Easter eggs.
They get in their car and they get sideswiped, and then they get out of the car and they notice that the whole town's gone crazy. They walk into the town proper, and everybody's going nuts. It looks like the French fucking anarchist riots in the middle of whatever small town they're in. People are burning cars. There is a guy beating a dude with a red hat, which is right on.
Yeah, and apparently in the bar too, there were guys with red hats.
There's
So the red hats are everywhere.
There's a lot of red hats.
My favorite line though is, "Hey Annie, do you
Red
remember
hat
me?"
hackers.
Oh yeah, the hacker one.
but
my
in a terrible way.
My favorite one is, "Hey Annie,
Not
do you
computer
remember
wise.
me?" And the guy comes up behind him and hits him with a fucking mace. He
Yeah.
just fucking clubs him.
Or clubs them with a meteorite. We don't know. If
Oh, that's
it's a
true. It could have
meteorite.
been a meteorite. Hey Annie, do you remember me? Whack. Yeah, it's so good.
They go. they're all, everybody's going crazy. They run into the mansplainer guy. He's like, he mansplains to them like what's actually happening.
But his voice changes. That's
His
the
voice
key.
And
changes
his voice
in some weird
changes, and
way.
they
I
both
don't-
recognize it.
Yeah, I don't know why his voice changes. That was very
And
strange.
they let him die. They just were like, "Fuck that."
Yeah, that's
motherfucker."
also what's strange. They
Fuck
just
that
let him
nigga.
die.
Well,
without
yeah, but they
compassion.
realize something's up with him too.
I'm sorry. Don't
Because his sort of misogyny isn't necessarily violent, or it's
He's like Cole.
he talks down to women.
Yeah.
He's like Cole.
He talks down. No, Cole doesn't talk down to women.
But he refused sex with a male. Just as bad as a crime. I'm just kidding. I'm sorry. Let
No,
me
his
redact
boyfriend
that.
was being a
Let me
fucking
redact
ass.
that.
I don't know.
Trying to force him to
Hey,
do things.
what do you call those people at the jury who has the stenographer? Stenographer, strike that from the record. All right, moving forward.
They try and hold the meteors to make themselves stronger, which doesn't work. Of
Yeah,
course.
big build up.
Nothing happens. They walk on by a fountain, and then you get the best line of the fucking the whole fucking episode, which is "Fuck you, Chad."
Fuck you, Chad.
Yeah, that was
Yeah,
some
send
good
y'all a
shit.
text. Drew it on there. Fuck you, Chad.
They eventually make their way to Cole and we cut at this point to Cole and Steve on the boat. Steve starts getting weird. He's trying to get Cole to drink the shots with the rock in it, and Cole's like, dude, I don't want to drink that. And then he starts to forcibly come on to him, and he's like, man, I don't feel like doing this right now. You're acting fucking weird as shit. And he eventually just gets off the boat and walks out, and he walks right into his mom and his aunt outside coming to find him. And he's like, I don't know what's going on, but Steve's acting super weird, and he's like sitting there beating on the fucking windows, like, let me out.
And then there it is. Hold on. And then there it is. Cue the greatest fucking walk up that I can remember. Go ahead and break this.
I mean, it's all right.
Whoa.
It's cool.
Man,
it's
fuck
cool.
off, man.
It's
Come on.
it's
Fuck off,
nice,
man.
I will also agree with you. So here is nice cinematography.
It is beautiful.
Yeah.
It's a pretty shot in the song, and he's
And
singing
because
the
of the
song.
build up from earlier,
Fire
you
the-
get that that feeling of like, oh shit, he's back. You
Yeah.
get that like almost
Yeah,
like
you get the,
like
you
you're
get the
rooting for the
return
bad
of
guy.
the original villain.
It's like a Freddy Krueger moment.
Yeah.
Yes. Can I describe?
It's like
how
you're
it
rooting for the bad guy, but you're really not because he's a pedo. And
He-
this guy, you're really not because he's a rapist.
Yes. Can I describe how this should have gone? And they
Well,
almost
he may
got
not
it
be
right.
let's not call him a rapist. He's at the very least he's a piece of shit.
He's a piece of shit
He's a
that
piece of
likes to
shit
hurt a
that
woman.
can't take no for an answer.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And I think to be fair,
Just like the Lionel Richie song in the context of this episode.
Yeah, he did
It-
drop it. He dropped it.
in Nick's
To be
defense,
fair.
calling him a rapist, he I think had he not been stopped, he probably would have raped that girl.
He would have.
Yeah, I think if she hadn't have gotten the fuck out of there right then, he probably would have raped that girl.
He would have.
He is a piece of shit.
Yeah.
And he walks up in he does have a very cool intro right here, singing his little Lionel Richie song. And the lighting is really cool here. The shot it's a neat shot. It's a good shot.
It should have gone though like this. Let me describe how this should have gone, Mr. Peel. No offense, but this is how the cinematography, the shot should have gone. It should, which is right. The Teresa and the Rhea Shehorn over the shoulder look back, but then it should have got to like him holding the chain and him singing that goddamn song. And in the night, I hold the night. And then cut to, and then I just wanted to see the reaction, and then you cut back to just the chain. And this is where I say the sound designer fucked up because it should have been quiet. There should have been no noise other than I'll give you a buoy, maybe some water rustling in the wind, but it should have been quiet here. And in the night I hold, and then you play that Lionel Richie song. Just play that. Like listen, listen.
No, it was better that
Just-
he sang it.
But no, but just
Yeah,
listen,
it
just-
was because
no,
it
but
gave you
hold
that
on,
moment,
hold on.
that feel.
No, hold on, shush. Just listen to the silence.
No,
No, hold on. Let us silence.
Oh, you're saying just as
Build
he's singing
it-
you have nothing but silence. No crickets,
No, well, you
no,
could have had a
like,
little bit.
moments.
It just you gotta cut
no,
that
no,
fucking
no, like
sound.
background music.
Yeah,
Just,
you got-
just his voice and his voice alone.
And that
I see what you're saying. Yeah.
chain, man, and you come up on that dock and it's in the night. I hold
Yeah, that would have been a
you.
great artistic direction, but we also noticed that in the screenwriting of this episode, they had terrible direction, and they try to pull the rug
Whoa,
out
dude.
from under you, but at the same time,
A woman wrote this. Let's not be too derogatory. Like, hold your remark. Hashtag be woke.
throughout it, we noticed that like it seems like they're trying to pull the rug out from under you, but they're actually showing you things that make it to where it's like whatever's going on with these guys is fact. Because like they're getting these veiny things going on with them, like the people are doing things they would never normally do.
But I
But then you
subscribe to the
say it's
meteorite
all
theory.
a placebo effect, and
Nah, I
these guys just
subscribe
took
to the meteorite theory.
took it as a
Well,
yeah.
It should have been meteorites. I agree
I'm
with
sorry,
you.
I
They
just-
fucked
I
up.
just-
no.
Yeah, I agree with you. They fucked up.
Maybe meteorites, it may be. I don't know what it is.
It just,
it's
I'm
bad
under.
writing.
Yeah, and that's what I was like. Maybe it's the lip balm because like they
Yeah,
keep setting
it could
everything
be
around the lip
anything,
balm, and
but
then
at
the
the
next
end of the
night,
day, it's-
or the next day after the whole encounter she has, she wipes her lip with the lip balm, or wipes her lips. Maybe it's from the moment she had, or from the lip balm itself.
Yeah, it's this is just bad. It's just poor writing, and
Yeah,
and
just-
it was somebody trying to tell a creepy story, and build lore around that story, and then dropping the lore out at the last minute. But that lore actually informs everything that happened before. So to take it out doesn't make any sense. So
at this point, she gets the better of him. She knocks him into the water. He
Yeah.
gets dropped down to the bottom because of Chris said he was swinging around. He should be able to like doggy paddle out of it.
Well,
I was
think
thinking
he was knocked out though. I think
Oh,
he was
yeah.
unconscious because she
Freddy
did hit him
versus
pretty hard twice in the face with that rock.
Dude,
Okay.
it's chainsaw
So-
him too. Like that thing was awesome.
yeah,
Like,
and that's
so-
what I was saying. It's also iron, so it's
Yeah.
probably pretty heavy.
And he
meteorite
wasn't
gets-
struggling.
meteorite.
Like he wasn't like trying to get back up.
Yeah, so he could
floated
totally have
down.
been
So-
knocked out, and it just helped him pull him down.
So
finish
he
drowning.
he died.
Yeah,
Dylan died.
the hero died.
Man.
You guys, okay, fine. I'll call him a hero. I'll
Yeah,
be the
he's
only
he's a
person
piece of shit.
He's a piece of shit. But he's a
sorry.
hero.
Yeah, and he tried to kill that girl and
That's the
tried to rape her
meteorite
earlier.
talking,
and
though. But hold on, that's the meteor. You were just talking about this.
But
is a
is
meteor.
the
We,
meteor
no, it's
isn't.
not though. That's the
But
problem.
because at the end,
So they're now we cut to like they're in an army tent. There's a bunch of scientists and doctors, and they're trying to figure out what's going on. They've got
Old lady
all
comes
kinds
up,
of.
old lady comes up and says, "Yeah, there's no cure that we can find."
What she said. Well, what the doctors say is we can't find anything that in their blood, anybody's blood that seems to infer that they are actually infected with something or have something in them that is making them do this, other than they're just being dicks. And that's the point where Cole pulls the rock out of his back pocket and says, "I've had this in my pocket all night, and I didn't do anything crazy. I didn't hurt anybody. Like I didn't." And they were like, "But you had that moment in the docks," and he's like, "Yeah, I chose to do that. Like I got mad because somebody's hurting my aunt, and then I realized like I don't want to do this, so I chose to stop it." And that was the point where they realized like, oh, well then this was all just a placebo. These meteors didn't actually do anything. They weren't making these people do this. And then they go to leave. The army dude stops him at the door and is like, "I need to see you guys' ID." They show him the ID, and that's when he looks at Annie's ID and says, "You'd be a lot cuter if you smiled, you know." And she's like, "Yeah, it's a shitty thing to say to anyone, really, but a female, like saying that to a woman, basically."
Hey,
what
girl,
that does is
get bigger
invalidates
tits.
their feelings. It invalidates a person's feelings by saying, like, you should be smiling right now because all you're supposed to be is a pretty thing for me to look at. That's a shitty thing to say to anyone.
Get bigger tits.
So,
Look hotter. That's essentially what I heard.
and then we cut to Jordan Peele, who ultimately, like, his outro here is just to say that these rocks were innocuous. And this was a problem of conscience
instead of
by
infection,
these-
instead of infection.
Yeah, it's not an infection. It's not a disease. It's not
issue of
it's not some alien force. It's just an illness of conscience that these men chose to do what they were doing because of the many reasons why men act this way in modern society and have
So,
always
like,
acted
that's just
this way
locker
throughout
room.
society.
That's just locker room talk.
Yeah, it's the same reason that every war on the fucking planet has ever been fought.
Man, you guys are fucking pussies, man. He said it.
And Mike, who had no knowledge of any of the shit that was even going on,
He just got the lawnmower and the
who was
water.
a super nice guy, by the way, at least as far as as far as we could tell, because the way that Rhea Seahorn reacted when he turned around and yelled at her was just shock and awe. It was like, oh my God, you've never fucking spoken to me that way before. Yeah. So we have to assume that this is a super nice guy who just all of a sudden decided to go beat a man to death outside of his house because someone followed his wife's sister home on a motorcycle.
You were asking for it.
Yeah, I can't. The show doesn't make sense. I'm sorry. Great episode. The last 10 seconds of it ruined it. Not ruined it, but made it so that I can't buy the premise that you're trying to sell me. Yeah. Basically. So really good episode. Fuck the end. Fuck the outro to that episode telling me that these meteors didn't make this happen. Because you told me throughout the entire episode that the meteors made this happen. And then you're like, but it didn't. That's not what happened. It's just dudes being dicks. And I'm like, okay, well, explain that. Please explain that in greater detail because you're not giving me enough information to go on. But that's all I got on that. I don't want to tear the episode apart and call it a piece of shit because it's not. It's a good episode. It's really cool. It was fun. Yeah, I like the whole zombie fucking aspect of it. I like the little nod to George Romero. Manja. I like all that stuff. It was all really good. You just blew it on that supposed
nailed the
twist. It's not a twist though, because a twist I would have to be taken aback and be like, wow, a twist. But I was just like, what the fuck? What are you talking about? That didn't make fucking sense at all.
Get woke, son. Get woke.
They threw you in too many directions and showed you too much stuff to make you then oh, you were wrong all along. Well, why'd you show me any of it?
Yo, Nick.
Yeah.
Get woke.
Oh my God.
Yo, Chris.
No.
No. Yo, Chris. Get woke. Get woke, son. Get woke.
So that's it for the episode this week.
Wait, we never introduced ourselves. Get woke.
I'm Chris.
I'm Nick.
I'm Cyrus. Get woke, son. This is Shadow and Substance. Get woke. Get woke.
See you next week.
All right, later, guys. Guys.